Okay, let's be real for a sec. Nobody actually enjoys doing their taxes, right?
Yay.
It's like the ultimate bummer when spring rolls around. And it feels like every year it just keeps getting more and more complicated.
Yeah, especially for anyone who basically lives their life online.
Exactly. But what if I told you there might be a way to actually make taxes, wait for it, fun?
Fun. Okay, I'm listening.
I know. Sounds kind of crazy, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
But that is exactly what Simple.tax is claiming.
Mhm.
And that's exactly why we're doing a deep dive today, to see if they can actually back up all this hype.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, what's really interesting to me is how Simple.tax seems to be speaking directly to like millennials and Gen Z,
Right.
people who just expect everything to be digital and simple.
Exactly. And we've got a lot to go off of today. We've got a briefing doc, a bunch of articles online, and even a press release.
Nice.
They're all basically saying Simple.tax is the solution to all our tax problems. But
There's a but.
there's always a but. Before we get totally swept away by all these big promises, I think we got to figure out a few things.
Yeah.
First of all, is Simple.tax really as simple as they're making it sound?
Right. What's the catch?
And how does AI actually work for something as complicated as, like, doing your taxes?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't
It's
it?
a huge question.
Can AI really handle all the little details and nuances of the tax code? I mean, if it actually works, this could be a game changer.
For sure.
But I think we also need to be, realistic about what technology can and can't do,
Absolutely.
especially when it comes to something as important as our finances.
100%. So let's start with, like, the basics. What are Simple.tax?
Yeah, good idea.
From what I'm getting from all this material, it's
Oh.
a tax service, but it combines AI with, actual human oversight from CPAs.
Okay, interesting.
They're calling it, get this, AI-powered tax filing with a human touch.
Hmm.
It sounds pretty impressive,
It does.
but I'm already kind of curious about how that balance works.
Yeah, me too. And right off
Yeah.
the bat, I'm also wondering about pricing.
Oh, good point.
Because if they're using AI and CPAs, is this even going to be affordable for the average person?
Right.
Or is this going to be like a super premium service?
Yeah.
And none of the sources actually mentioned anything specific about cost, which honestly is a bit of a red flag for me.
I see what you mean.
When it comes to financial services, transparency is key.
Totally. Okay, so that's something we'll definitely need more info on.
Agreed.
But let's focus on the AI part for now.
Okay.
Apparently, one of their biggest selling points is what they're calling effortless document scanning.
Effortless.
Effortless. They say their AI can pull data from over 20 different types of documents.
Wow.
So everything from, like, your W-2s and 1040s to more complex business forms like 1065s.
Oh, man.
And they're really pushing the fact that you don't have to manually enter every single number,
Okay.
which, let's be honest, sounds like a huge e-time saver.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
But saving time is only valuable if the information is actually accurate.
Right.
So I'm really interested in how this AI thing actually makes sure the info it's pulling is accurate.
Yeah.
Is it just extracting data? Or is it actually cross-checking for errors?
Good question.
Looking for those red flags.
Mhm.
And maybe even more importantly, what are people saying about their experience using this AI?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it really as effortless as Simple.tax claims it is?
That's a great point. We don't actually have any, like, real user feedback in any of this stuff.
That's true.
So are people actually finding it easy to use? Are they
Mhm.
having any problems, any glitches, anything like that? It's hard to know, really. We need to hear from real people before we can say for sure how effective this AI really is. I mean, it all sounds great on paper, but
Sure.
I'm always a little skeptical of any service that claims to make taxes fun and easy.
I hear you.
Yeah.
A mission statement is one thing, but real-world results, those are what actually matter.
Yeah.
And speaking of accuracy,
Yeah.
let's talk about the human side of things for a minute.
Okay, yeah, good idea.
Because even with this fancy AI, Simple.tax keeps saying that every single return is prepared and reviewed by a real certified CPA.
Right.
Like, it seems like they're really banking on the fact that people trust CPAs,
Yeah.
to kind of reassure users.
Totally.
Mm.
And Eric Rosen, he's the co-founder of Simple.tax and a CPA himself.
Okay.
He says, quote, "Our mission is to make tax filing as simple and stress-free as possible. By leveraging the latest AI technology and combining it with the expertise of seasoned CPAs, we ensure our users save time, avoid errors, and get the maximum refund possible." So it all sounds very promising, but I can't help but wonder,
Yeah.
is that just marketing talk, or are they actually be delivering on these claims?
Yeah, that's a big statement for sure. And while having a CPA review every return is definitely a good thing, it kind of makes me wonder about the pricing again.
I see what you mean.
CPAs don't work for free. How are they factoring that into their costs? Are they passing those costs on to the customer? We need more info on how their pricing structure actually works
Yeah.
and how it compares to other services that also offer CPA review. Is this going to be a budget-friendly option, or are we talking about like a premium service?
And on top of cost, I'm also thinking about how this could affect, how long it takes to file.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Like if a CPA has to check every return, is that going to slow down the process?
Interesting.
Because we all know how stressful it can be waiting to the last minute,
For sure.
especially when there are deadlines. And Simple.tax is really pushing this idea of a fast and seamless experience. But is that even realistic if there's this whole layer of human oversight?
It's like they're making a trade-off, right?
Yeah.
And we need more information to really figure out how that plays out in real life. Like, are they sacrificing speed to get more accuracy? Are they able to keep a reasonable turnaround time without messing up the quality?
These are all really great points. And it's definitely clear that we need to dig deeper into the specifics before we can really evaluate Simple.tax. I mean, it's definitely interesting. But we're not ready to, jump on board just yet. There are too many unanswered questions about pricing, how user-friendly it is, and how it all works in practice.
Absolutely. We've got all this hype. Now we need the substance.
Right.
And there's one thing we haven't even touched on yet.
What's that?
Data security.
Oh, right.
This whole service is based on people uploading their personal financial documents.
Yeah.
So what are they doing to make sure the data is safe and secure?
That is a huge concern, especially these days. I mean, data breaches are constantly happening.
Yeah.
We need to know that Simple.tax is taking all the right precautions to protect people's information.
Right. And not just protection, but are they being transparent about it?
Ooh, good point.
Are they upfront about their data security measures? Do they have a clear privacy policy? These are things we need to know.
Yeah, for sure. Before we can even think about trusting them with our financial info.
Exactly.
So I think it's safe to say that while we're definitely intrigued by what Simple.tax could offer, we're also being realistic.
I like it.
We're approaching it with a healthy dose of skepticism. The whole AI thing combined with actual CPA oversight is definitely appealing.
Yeah.
But like we've been saying, the devil is in the details.
Speaking of details,
Yeah.
there's one other really important piece of information that's missing from all these sources.
What is it?
Competition. Like, how does Simple.tax stack up against all the other tax services that are out there?
Oh, that's a great point. We need to know where Simple.tax fits in.
Yeah.
In the big picture of tax services, I mean, are they really offering something totally new and different? Or are they just, hopping on the AI bandwagon? And maybe more importantly, are there other services out there that would be a better fit?
For our needs and our budget.
Right.
Exactly. Because without knowing what else is out there, it's really hard to know what the real value of Simple.tax is.
Right.
They might have all the bells and whistles, but if they're way more expensive than other similar services...
Right. Then it might not be worth it.
Exactly. It's like when you're shopping for a car,
That analogy.
You might fall in love with a certain car, but if it's totally out of your price range...
Then you got to keep looking.
You got to keep looking. And just like with buying a car, we need to do our research. Compare prices. Read reviews.
Right.
Before making a decision. We need to figure out if Simple.tax is actually right for us.
For our needs and our budget.
And that we feel comfortable with how they handle our data.
And their privacy policies, yeah.
All that stuff.
It's all about finding that balance, isn't it?
It is.
Between convenience, affordability, and peace of mind. And that means we got to look beyond the marketing hype.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to do in the next part of this deep dive.
Ooh, can't wait.
We're going to explore all those missing pieces. We're going to take a look at the competition. And hopefully by the end of all this, you'll be able to decide if Simple.tax is the answer to all your tax dreams.
Sounds good.
So stay tuned.
We're just getting started.
We are. So it feels like we're in that classic situation, information overload.
Oh, yeah.
We've got tons of details about all the features, the technology, but we're missing some, crucial pieces to actually make an informed decision about Simple.tax, I mean.
It's like they're giving us a sneak peek at the newest, latest gadget.
Yeah.
but they won't let us actually try it out
Right.
or even see the price tag.
Exactly.
It definitely makes you curious,
Yes.
but you're left with more questions than answers.
Exactly. And that's like the biggest challenge for consumers today, I think.
Yeah.
It's not just about how MUCH information is out there.
Right.
It's about like the quality.
Yeah.
Is it complete? Can we trust it?
So what have we actually learned so far?
Yeah, good question.
We've gone from like total tax season dread to the possibility of AI doing our taxes for us. But I think we're still being pretty skeptical, right?
Yeah, healthy skepticism.
Exactly. We found some stuff that seems promising.
For sure.
But we also have these big gaps in our understanding.
What's really cool, though, is that Simpple.tax might be bringing something totally new to the table
Okay.
by, like, mixing AI with the human expertise of actual CPAs.
Yeah.
But we're missing some pretty important information.
Right.
And that makes me wonder about, how transparent they're really being.
Yeah.
And what the user experience is actually like.
So just to recap what we do know.
Okay.
They're trying to appeal to, millennials and Gen Z.
Right.
With this service that's saying it'll make filing your taxes simple and stress-free.
Yeah.
They're using AI to do the data entry stuff automatically and to check for accuracy. But then they also have CPAs prepping and reviewing every return.
Okay.
So in theory, it sounds pretty good.
It does.
But we need more than just, marketing promises and tech specs.
Absolutely. We need to see how it works in real life.
Right. And that's where all these missing pieces are so important.
Yeah.
Like if we had user reviews, we'd know if people are actually finding it easy to use, if it's actually fun.
Right.
And if we could compare it to other services,
Yeah.
we'd see how Simpple.tax measures up in terms of what it offers and, if it's a good value.
Totally. And of course, before we do anything, we need that information about pricing,
Right.
data security, and their privacy policies before we even think about giving them our info.
Imagine this. You're all ready to file your return.
Okay.
You've checked everything twice.
Mm-hmm.
You're feeling good.
Yeah.
But then, bam, they hit you with some processing fee you never even heard about.
Oh, no.
That's why being transparent about prices is so important.
It is.
Especially when a service is already factoring in the cost of CPAs.
Right.
Like, are they just passing those costs on to the customer? Are there hidden fees?
Yeah.
We need to know that stuff up front.
It feels like they're kind of hoping we won't ask those questions,
Yeah.
Like they're banking on the fact that AI is new and exciting.
Right.
And that we all trust CPAs, but we can't just take their word for it. We have to do our research.
So what does all this mean for you, dear listener? It means you have some homework to do.
Homework.
I know. But if you're interested in Simpple.tax, don't stop here.
Yeah, keep digging.
Go beyond all the hype and really look into it.
So first things first,
Yeah.
look for reviews. See what real people are saying about Simpple.tax.
Yeah, good idea.
Did they think it was easy to use? Did they run into problems? Were they happy with the results?
And while you're at it,
Yeah,
compare Simpple.tax to the other big tax services out there.
that's a good idea.
What are their pros and cons? Do they have any AI features? How do the prices and services compare?
Exactly.
That's how you'll really see if Simpple.tax is offering something actually new or if it's just the same old stuff with a new label.
And don't be afraid to. Contact Simpple.tax directly.
Oh, right.
Ask them the tough questions about pricing, data security, privacy. Any reputable company should be totally open about all that.
It's like an interview.
It is.
You're thinking about trusting them with your financial info, so you have every right to ask those hard questions.
For sure. This whole deep dive has really shown how important it is to be an informed consumer.
It has. It's so easy to get caught up in the promises,
Yeah.
The idea that there's this easy solution for everything.
Right.
But when we're talking about your taxes,
Yeah.
you really need to do your research.
Technology is awesome, but it's not magic.
Right.
It's up to each person to decide if a service like Simpple.tax is right for them.
Based on their needs and what they're comfortable with. So I think we've covered a lot here today.
We
We've
have.
explored how AI could change how we do our taxes. But we've also said how important it is to think critically and do your research.
Exactly. Now, before we wrap things up completely, I kind of want to shift gears a little and talk about the bigger picture.
Okay, I like it.
We've been thinking about Simpple.tax for individual taxpayers. But what about how this tech could impact everyone?
Oh, that's interesting.
What if it could make taxes easier for everybody, no matter how much money they make?
Right.
or how complicated their finances are.
That would be amazing.
Could this be the start of a tax system that's actually fair and accessible for everyone?
Imagine a world where nobody dreads tax season,
I know.
where it's easy to understand and do your taxes,
Yeah.
and where everyone feels confident that they're getting the best possible outcome. It's a pretty good vision.
It is, but
Always a but.
there's always a but. We
Yeah.
can't forget about the possible downsides.
Right.
If we're not careful, AI could actually make things worse.
Oh, how so?
It could create a system that only benefits certain people at the expense of others. We have to make sure any AI tax solution is designed to be fair and accessible.
Like, what about people who aren't comfortable using technology or don't have good internet? We can't leave those people behind.
Yeah, for sure. And we have to think about bias. AI systems are only as good as the data they learn from.
Right.
So if the data is messed up or biased,
That could lead to unfair results.
exactly. It's a really complicated issue
It is.
with no easy answers.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a conversation we need to have.
For sure. The benefits of AI for taxes are huge,
Yeah.
but we have to be careful
Mm,
and make sure it's done the right way, ethically and fairly.
totally. And who knows, maybe one day we'll look back on this deep dive
Yeah.
and it'll be like the moment we started thinking differently about taxes.
Okay.
Imagining a system that's truly simple, fair, and works for everyone.
That is definitely something to think about.
So it's been quite a journey, hasn't it?
It has. We've gone from dreading taxes to
Yeah.
all these possibilities with AI
Yeah.
to actually thinking about the future of taxes in general.
Exactly. And we want you, dear listener, to keep exploring this too.
Yes.
Don't just take our word for it.
Right.
Keep digging. Ask those tough questions. And don't be afraid to challenge the status quo.
I love that. That's what the deep dive is all about.
It is. So until next time,
Yeah.
stay curious, stay informed, and maybe, just maybe,
Right.
start to embrace the possibility of a future where taxes don't have to be so taxing.
Uh-huh. I like that. So it kind of feels like we're at this crossroads, right?
I see what you're saying.
With this whole AI technology. Like, one path leads to a system that's easier and fairer for everyone.
You're right.
But the other path could actually make things less equal.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's why it's so important that we're all aware of what's happening,
Exactly. We need to know about the potential problems with AI.
like bias, and how it could leave some people out.
Right. And then we can start pushing for systems that make things fairer and more accessible.
For everybody. Exactly.
So let's say AI becomes the main way we all do our taxes. We got to make sure it's helping everyone. Not just people who are like super comfortable with technology or people who have the money to figure out all these complicated digital systems.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, we have to start asking some serious questions.
Okay. Like what?
Well, like, who's actually making this technology? What data are they using to teach the AI?
Right.
And what's in place to prevent discrimination? You know, to make sure everyone's treated equally.
It's not enough to just get excited about AI.
No, for sure.
We got to be smart about it. We got to be critical.
Yeah,
We have
yeah.
to hold the people making these systems accountable.
Exactly. They need to be creating systems that are fair and transparent,
Yeah.
that everyone can understand and use.
Like any powerful tool. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
It can be used for good or for bad. It all depends on the people using it
Mhm.
and what their intentions are.
Right. So when it comes to AI and taxes, we need to be guided by like ethical principles,
Yeah.
a commitment to helping everyone.
Okay, so as we wrap up our deep dive into Simple.tax today, I want to leave everyone with a bit of a call to action.
A call to action. Love it.
Don't just sit back and let technology decide the future of taxes for you. Get involved.
Yeah, get involved.
Ask questions. Fight for a tax system that works for everybody.
Information is power,
Reef.
and your voice matters.
100%. Stay informed about what's happening with AI and taxes.
Yeah.
Talk about the ethics of it all.
Yeah.
Let the people in charge, the developers, the policymakers know what you think.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Because the future of taxes is being shaped right now,
it is.
and we all have a say in how that happens.
I like that. This whole deep dive has really been a journey.
It has.
We started with the idea of the simple solution for our taxes.
Right.
We explored all these possibilities with AI,
Yeah.
and we ended up talking about some really complex, challenging questions.
And that's exactly what the deep dive is all about, isn't it?
It is.
Making people curious, encouraging them to think critically,
Uh-huh.
giving them the tools to navigate this crazy world of information and technology.
Well said.
Yeah.
So until next time, everyone,
Yes.
keep exploring, keep asking those tough questions, and keep diving deep.
That's it.